We just got back from Clough State Park in Dunbarton, so my hair is all post-lake hair, so I got my hat on, and I'm at home for today's video. Have you ever had the experience of wanting to achieve or have something really badly, and you work really hard to get it, and you finally get it, and it's totally not what you expected? Have you ever had that experience? I've had that experience. It can be incredibly frustrating. One of these experiences that comes to mind for me is when I started like bodybuilding in high school. I told this story on the channel previously, but I was a really like kind of thin guy early high school, and so I worked out a lot and I put on a lot of muscle and I looked pretty good by late high school. And I did that. I did that for a couple different reasons. I did that because, number one, I thought it would make me self-confident, and number two, I thought it would make me more attractive to women. And it did both of those things somewhat. I mean, certainly, it certainly made me more attractive, and it certainly improved my self-confidence. But it really didn't give me everything that I wanted. You know, like I thought it was going to solve my problem, but it really didn't. And what was interesting is I actually discovered that I had sort of a deeper problem, which was that I was insecure, right? And I thought that getting very fit would solve my insecurity, but it didn't. You know, so it's interesting to me because, you know, I think that oftentimes people set goals and set objectives in their lives with the idea that this will solve some problem for them, when the truth is they actually don't really want the thing that they think they do. What they're really chasing is the experience that they think the thing will provide. And that's one of the lessons that I want to talk about in today's video. It's the difference between symbols, which are the things that we chase, and experiences, which are, you know, what the experience of being is when you achieve the thing that you want to achieve. Welcome to the channel. My name is Weiss. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. I'm doing a video series here called Lessons for My Kids, where I'm recording a video each week and trying to teach a lesson that I think is critical for my kids to learn by the time they become adults. Right now, my kids are quite young. I've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, but I'm just recording these videos so that if something were to happen to me, they still have all these lessons taught to them by their dad. So the lesson that I want to teach here is the difference between symbols and experiences. In my experience, almost everyone chases symbols rather than experiences. But when you drill down to the core of it, what people really want are experiences. They just think they want the symbols. Now, there's nothing wrong with symbols per se, but I think that you can allow yourself to have the experience you want to have much sooner than you think is possible. Now, this is all kind of abstract. Let me get into some specific examples of symbols versus experiences. So some people think that they want a lot of money, right? And that's what they have as their goal, as their objective. They just want a lot of money. The truth is, though, they don't really want the money. What they want is what they think the money can do in their lives, right? So what could the money do in their lives? Well, they could quit a job that sucks. They could experience less stress. Maybe they're stressed out because they don't have enough money to pay their bills. They could experience security and eliminate this sort of looming feeling of being broke, right? So they don't really want the money. What they want is what they think the money will bring to them. Another example of this is a job title, right? Like, so some people think that they want a promotion at work, but what they really want is what they think the promotion will cause, which could be additional income. And then they, what do they really want the income for? All those things I just described. But oftentimes it goes down to, they want to be respected and admired more. or they want to feel like they are superior or impressive, or that they're skilled, or they want to feel appreciated. And so they view the promotion as the goal, when really the goal is to feel appreciated, impressive, worthy. And so what's interesting about that is that you can fall into like a bit of a trap, right? And I don't know if you've ever met someone like this. I've certainly met someone like this, where they think that money's the goal, so they keep chasing money. And it's obvious to anyone who's watching that money is not the thing that this person needs the most, right? They have enough money. And the fact that they keep trying to acquire more money makes it seem like kind of, an addiction, really. But what these people don't see is that, and I think the ultimate lesson is, you can never get enough of what you don't really want. Right? I'm going to say that once again. You can never get enough of what you don't really want. And so what these people want is not money. What they want is the feeling that they think money can provide. But money isn't providing that feeling. So they think, oh, well, maybe I just need more money. Or maybe I just need more money. Or maybe I just need more money. And they get stuck in this trap because they can't move past the symbol and go directly for the experience. Because going directly for the experience, I think, is a little bit more complex, right? So when you decide what you want to do with your life, I would encourage you to consider the difference between symbols and experiences. A book that talks a little bit about this is Self-Talk versus Soul Talk by Russell Bishop. The tagline of the book is Becoming More of Who You Truly Are. I think it's a great book. And he talks a lot about symbols versus experiences. And one of the tools that he suggests is using two parts. I want, and then that I want is the first part. And then the second part is so that. And when you think you want something in your life, go through I want so that a couple of times until you feel like you've sort of reached the bottom. So if we use myself as an example, right? And let's use my earlier story of wanting to be physically fit. Okay, I want large muscles so that women find me attractive. I want women to find me attractive so that I feel confident. I want to feel confident so that I can be authentic. I want to be authentic so that I can be happy with who I am. So what do I really want? I want to be happy with who I am. And all of that, all of those so that's are to get to the ultimate goal, which is to be happy with who I am. Now I can cut out those four earlier things, and maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe I will still get fit, because getting fit is fun and a useful challenge. But now I can understand my true motivation for getting fit, which is so that I can be happy with who I am. And also, maybe I can find ways to directly pursue that. And I can ask more useful questions like, how can I be happy with who I am today? So I would encourage you, like I said earlier, if you have things that you want in your life, consider that exercise. I want so that. And you may be interested to find out what sort of your real motivations or your real desires are for experiences rather than symbols. A couple other related points that I would make that are sort of related to this idea. One is the arrival fallacy. So a lot of people, and I've had this experience a couple of times actually, you think that once you hit a certain goal, you will finally be happy. But what you find is after you hit that goal, you just kind of go back to normal after a certain amount of time. I think this is also called the hedonic treadmill. And so the key is to not make your happiness dependent upon the outcome of a certain action, but to rather make happiness like a practice that you have every day. So understand that there's no place that you can arrive at any given point in the future that'll make you happy. Rather, it's the journey, not the destination, right? Experiences beat symbols empirically. So a couple of studies have found that when they compare the happiness levels of people who bought things versus purchased experiences. So, you know, a thing would be like, I don't know, a new motorcycle. An experience would be like a fishing trip with your dad. They've found that people who purchase experiences are much more satisfied and happy with their decision to purchase experiences instead of things. So consider that too. You know, experiences are better than things. That seems to be what the data suggests empirically. Yeah, I think ultimately, you know, you're going to want things in your life, and you're going to go through, I think, some of the experiences I had, which are you're going to think you want things, and then you know, if you work hard and are focused and diligent, you'll get them. And then you'll realize that the thing that you got isn't actually what you want. And that's okay. You know, I think that that's a part of life. Hopefully you don't spend too much of your life working for things that you don't really want. Hopefully you can discover this soon enough. I think, you know, one of the things that's tough is that oftentimes the things that you think you want are imposed upon you by other people. And as your dad, I'll do my best, but I'm probably going to impose things upon you, things that I want for you because I think they'll make you happy. But ultimately, you have to make your own decision about what you want and what's going to make you happy in your life. And I hope that you can spend the most amount of time in your life pursuing that which you truly want and not that which you think you should want or should have. Hope that lesson was helpful. That's symbols versus experiences. This is Ryan Weiss with The Ryan Weiss Show, signing out. Thanks for watching.